Butch come over to us and we started working, around towns. I think I had some of Butch's first matches with him. He was around 220 then, and I was 180, or 185 or something. I was slowly coming up, and Butch, maybe 190. Anyhow, Butch was 220, and I remember having a couple of matches with him. Places, boy, he was stiff. he had him at his home, and he had a chest. He won Mr. Chest. I think it was in 1965. You go out like that with his chest, and you could sit up glass on it. You know what I mean? Right. He had that big pecs, the old style chest. Thick like Bruno. Right. Anyhow, he started with our promotion, and he was a villain, and of course I was too. And so they started tagging us up together in '66. And 68, 69, we started going to Australia for Jim Barnett. Jim Barnett opened up Australia in '65, WCW. He owned that name, Jim Barnett owned WCW, and he was a good friend with Ted Turner, but he'd been running television. Jim Barnett had been running from coast to coast, Chicago, over to the West Coast with the Shires up in San Francisco. Jim had parts of territories everywhere. And, he owned with Jerry Graham, not Jerry, down at Tampa and Georgia, a lot of places. Anyhow, he came to Australia in '65, bought the roller derby out and got on the prime time on a Saturday morning. Now, Australia's size is the same as North America, but at the time, there was only 30 million people there, all coastal towns, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's 40 million there now. And Jim was running 7 days a week, and he brought a whole crew of American guys in. And boy, he brought in all the heavy hitters, Buddy Austin, Brute Barnard, Brute Barnard, and the other guy now who was his partner, he's from Carolina, is a Frenchman. I forget his name. And then there was Abdullah, there was Big Bad John, there was the Von Erichs, Waldo Von Erich and Fritz Von Erich. There was the Japs, Tanaka and Fuji. And then the baby faces were all good. They had two local guys there which were immigrated there, and that Murray Milano, who worked in the States, and of course Spiros Arion, but they brought a lot of top baby faces over there. Don Morocco was young then, good looking, good physique, 230, 240. I could say Mark Lewin was a booker. Of course, King Curtis and Mark, they were a team. They went everywhere together. And Mark booked for Jim. And that was it. So Butch and me had been going over there to work for 2 weeks with Jim and back. It was great. You go across there and there was 3 ropes and there was no time limit. There was a time limit. There was no rounds. It was a big change. And we'd never thrown or a kick. That in New Zealand, the commission were the police. You couldn't punch or kick. And if you did, the police would step in the ring and stop the match.